Hello friends, welcome to this special episode of Acadhelp Bio Webinar. This special episode is on World Environment Day 2020. To discuss on this day, I have with me Dr. Sabyasachi Majumdar. He is a postgraduate teacher working in Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1, Ishapur, Kolkata. He is serving for the last 27 years. He is a National Teacher Awardee. He is a Genesis Fellow, Japan, and ILEAF Fellow, USA. Apart from teaching, he is a marine biologist and is working with SD Marine Biological Research Institute. He is associated with this institute for the last 30 years and working for ecology and environmental issues. Teaching is his passion. Teaching is his passion. He conducts excursion, field trips for his students because he believes that biology cannot be taught and learned without being exposed to the nature. So welcome, Dr. Majumdar, in this show, special episode.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being with me today. And today's discussion is on World Environment Day 2020. Now, we have many things to discuss. And since our viewers are students and many others, especially the students of +2 section, and of course the secondary students. Before we start, let me tell you some important information that World Environment Day is also called as Eco Day, and it is celebrated every year. This World Environment Day is a United Nations flagship program for encouraging awareness for protection of the environment. This was first held in 1994, 5th June 1974, though the first was held in 1973 with the theme Only One Earth. However, from 1974 onwards, the World Environment Day is hosted in different cities of the world. Now this year is being hosted by Colombia with Germany as a partner. And last year in 2019, China was the host with the theme air pollution. Now let me tell you that Colombia is one of the largest mega diverse nations which holds about 10% of the planet's biodiversity. Colombia stands first in bird and orchid species diversity, and second in plant, butterflies, freshwater fish, and amphibian diversity. So this day, when we are experiencing that about 1 million species on Earth are facing the threat of extinction, it is now time that we must think over and we must understand biodiversity. So this year's theme is Celebrate Biodiversity. Now, Dr. Majumdar, I'd like to first know from you and let our students and our viewers know what actually is the meaning of biodiversity. We talk about diversity, but let us understand from you what actually it means.
Exactly, Dr. Saha. Biodiversity is basically a term shortened, biological diversity. That means variety and variability of life on Earth from diverse habitat. It may be terrestrial, it may be freshwater, aquatic, or marine habitat. That's biological diversity. And that is different. That means it may be between the species diversity, within the species diversity, and amongst the ecosystem diversity. So there are different ways to describe it. It can even be described in terms of genetic diversity, species diversity, and habitat diversity. That means basically our students knows about 5 kingdoms of life.
Yes.
Monera, protista, fungi, plantae, and animal. So diversity of all these 5 kingdoms basically comes under biodiversity. And it was popularized by Edward Wilson.
Yes. Thank you. So now I take suppose our students and our
Strangely,
viewers.
it first comes in an American defense meeting. The
Okay.
term comes, but later on now we are habituated with this.
Okay, that's fine. So now our students and our viewers are now clear about that. There are basically three types which we understand as genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecological diversity. Would you like to just explain in a bit more about what these terms are? Because these are some technical terms.
Yes, yes,
Genetic
yes.
diversity, species diversity,
sharing
and ecological diversity.
exactly. I'm sharing my screen.
Okay, thank you, please.
So here you see the first slides suggest about the small actions, big impact. That is, every effort counts. That's very important. If we all join hand, the global goals also say about 17, goal number 17 is partnership. So even in, it's all about partnership, and every effort can lead to save our earth, our planet Earth. So it's the World Environment Day, already you have talked about it. And 1972 is the Magna Carta, the Stockholm Conference, which initiates about the consciousness about nature and environment among the different global leaders. And our late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was one of the pioneers of that conference.
Right.
We have already talked about detail about Environment Day, so I am skipping it. And this year, this is the celebrate biodiversity, biological diversity. Interestingly, this year also we have World Wildlife Day. That's also talked about sustaining all life on Earth.
Right.
And here, this diagram, you can notice that it is beyond water diversity and terrestrial diversity. Both are equally important. And this is there in Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, two separate goals are there. So here I've already talked about the definition of biodiversity. So here you find genetic diversity. So within the species, we are all Homo sapiens, but each one of us has different color, different height, different characters. That varies because of our DNA, because of our genes. So that's genetic diversity. We have different types of mangoes, what all comes under Mangifera indica. We have different type of rice variety or Rhiza sativa. We have a rich heritage of rice variety of more than 2,000 species previously, but nowadays we are only using around 15 to 30 species. Likewise, species diversity. In a particular area where there are more number of species, we consider it as more diverse areas. Though equitability in distribution is another important in terms of species diversity, evenness in distribution. And ecosystem diversity, various types of ecosystem sustaining various types of life. Say for India, we have the magnificent Himalayas having some type of diversity, the great Indian oceans, Bay of Bengal, estuaries, Sundarbans, the deserts of Rajasthan, every other ecosystem have different types of varieties. So that comes under ecosystem diversity. If you talk about diversity, you cannot ignore the microscopic world, the plankton, the phytoplankton and the zooplankton. They all comes under diversity. And this is unique, wonderful. You see the bioluminescence of the different group of drifting planktons, both phytoplankton and zooplankton. Our students are aware of diatoms, dinoflagellates. This they are aware of. And there are various group of these fish larvae and other invertebrate larvae all comes under zooplankton. I deliberately keep this.
Yes, SARS-CoV-2 structure.
Yes.
That's fine.
Virus, we don't place it under as a living organism.
Right.
But when it comes into human body, is an intercellular obligate parasites.
Then it starts living.
I've kept it because the students, we are now all in a pandemic world and we are really in a troublesome situation. We must understand this and take prevalent measures to remain ourselves safe so that we can sustain our life in a very positive way. That's why I keep this.
They also have a diverse population, you know.
Yes, yes.
They also have diverse population.
Viruses also have diverse population.
Right.
Even in this coronaviruses, there are different types.
Right. And Dr. Majumdar,
that's the message for this.
Okay,
that
okay. Yes.
Avoid, cover with mask, cleaned, sanitize yourself, don't touch the fomites, and separated the things. So these are important. After our school reopens, this will be very vital,
Right.
I believe.
Of course, this will be required, and everyone will be obeying this.
That's the fourth
following
thing.
these instructions.
Yes, yes.
To keep oneself safe and others safe also.
Smart, safe, and ready. That's very important.
Right. When we talk of biodiversity, we have already spoke about Edward Wilson, who has popularized the term of biodiversity. One more person which I can't miss, that is Robert May.
Yes.
Robert May.
He was
estimates. His global estimates of species diversity.
Yes.
Which is about. He says that there are 7 million species.
Yes.
Though many estimate that there could be about 20 to 50 million. But his estimate says that there are about
7 to 10 million species.
Is about 7 million. So that is also important thing. And interesting thing is the population, means the species diversity. That is in the invertebrates, if you talk of invertebrates or vertebrates or in the plants, the distribution, that is more than 70% of all species recorded are animals. On this,
yes, and of which arthropods and insects are the top brother, big brothers.
That means out of every 10 animals on this planet, 7 are insects.
Exactly, and that insect diversity is losing most rapidly.
In spite of this, we are losing a lot of diversity. Now I find you have shared a picture, one photograph.
Yes. As you have rightly told you that
yes.
You cannot really learn biodiversity within the four wall of the class.
Obviously not.
You have to be the field, and not necessarily you have to go to Andaman or you have to go to other ways. Your school campus can be a beautiful exposure of biodiversity. And I know you also do the same thing in your school days.
Once upon a time, I of course used to do it.
Yes. Here you see, this is a field within the KV Malda campus, and the students, you see the students' glowing face.
Right.
That's the important thing.
Students enjoy, they learn and they enjoy. When you expose them to the nature and ask them to
rote memorization scenario. They escape from the rote memorization scenario.
If you want to be away from rote learning and have some experience, okay, then exposing the students to the nature, learning outside the classroom is very, very important.
My thing is I have mentioned one term, either take the students to the field or bring the field into your classroom.
Yes, both the things. Rightly say. Take them to the field and bring the field to your classroom. Both are
yes, you have a digital camera, you can bring it. Pioneer in digital herbarium.
Right.
That we follow that also. That's digital herbarium.
Yes, so I had introduced this with our teachers in various workshops.
Either bring them to the field into your classroom or take them to the field.
Right. Anyway, you have to attach them with the biodiversity.
Yes. So there are different habitats. As I've told you, here you see wetlands are one of the major habitats of biodiversity. And within the wetland, mangroves is one. In our state, we have Sundarbans, and you see here is a wonderful strands of Nipa fruticans, the golpata. Okay, so that habitat, this is nowadays is disappearing because of increase in salinity.
Okay.
It needs less saline environment. So that's the tidbits of biodiversity. This is very important. And these are the main ways how biodiversity is lost. You talk about
yes, this is very important discussion which I also wanted to ask you, but before that you have showed.
now
That's very
you
good.
talk about.
Yes, because our students need to learn first. Why are we discussing these things? Why are we discussing? Why are you so anxious to know about our biodiversity? What is the problem? Problem is we don't actually realize how we are losing biodiversity.
Exactly.
And in this, I think you will be able to explain well how actually biodiversity loss causes. And after this, we'll discuss the effect. And here we'll have, you have already shown one important term, that is the evil quartet. Very, very important term, which is now our students
This
also
evil
should know.
portrait
Discuss this
was
part.
given by Gerard Diamond.
Yes.
Habitat loss and fragmentation. That means dwelling place is the habitat, and if you lose that because of overpopulation and urbanization, we are losing our habitat. Or fragmentation. You belongs to North Bengal. I know you are from Kuch Bihar,
Right.
and you know in your area the elephant corridor, that habitat has been fragmented by putting railway track. And you know, we all know the effect. Every year,
Yes.
elephants are run over and killed by that. So that is, we infringe upon their habitat. They don't infringe us.
Construction of highways, construction of railway lines,
Yes,
through the greenery, through the forests. These are the main reasons why there is a fragmentation of the.
So habitat loss and fragmentation.
Right.
Overexploitation, mainly in the marine environment. Overfishing leads to depletion of stock. Overexploitation of natural resources leading to depletion of biodiversity. Next, about alien species, non-native species.
Yes. Now, this is very important. Alien species invasion, which we normally call. Please explain this part. Alien species invasion. This is very important for our students.
Yes. Invasive species. Non-native species, when comes within an alien area, they become a threat to the native species. See here, we have two very large group of species now prevalent: the Lantana camera and Parthenium hysterophorus. Both are invasive species.
Highly invasive. Along the railway track, if you travel along the railway track, you'll find Parthenium.
And this is also very dangerous because it is causing allergy, pollen allergy.
Pollen allergy.
A lot of skin irritation and pollen allergy. So these are basically invasive species, and they invade and cause loss of many
native species.
Native weeds.
Right.
Those native species have gone. Likewise, this one also. Though Lantana camera has its own medicinal value, yet it is a species and danger to local biodiversity. In animal also, you have heard of chichlids in Victoria Lake being because of invasive, and also Clarias garipinus.
Oh,
that
this is a really dangerous one.
And
I'm afraid to see this fish.
Native Clarias batracus. Sure. So that's why I've given it. Edward Wilson preferred another term, hippo. That is habitat destruction, invasive species. Pollution is very important.
Yes.
Pollution nowadays, in this scenario, pollution you cannot ignore. Overpopulation and harvesting.
Harvesting, yeah.
And another most important thing is climate change.
Yes, global climatic change, of course.
Yes. Global climate change is a big concern for biodiversity loss.
Right.
We'll discuss, because mostly, you know, I will discuss in another theme topic about that. So that's the major way of biodiversity loss. We can prevent this by conservation measure.
Yes, now the question is, we have been discussing about how they are being lost. Now it's not the time to discuss on how they are lost. We have already lost many things.
How to restore
it. So this is taken into granted, that there is pollution, there is biodiversity loss, and we are expected to face its consequences. We must think.
Yes.
Not only we and our coming generations, they will be experiencing more.
Yes.
So now it is time to think not about the loss, now the time to repair it. That is, what should we do? How do we conserve biodiversity? That is the most important issue now. Please
this
discuss
conservation measure comes under in situ conservation. That is conservation of biodiversity within their natural habitats. We have, in one word, we call it PA, protected area.
Protected areas.
That may be national parks, that may be wildlife sanctuaries, that may be biosphere reserves, or even that may be in the name of religion, that is
sacred groves.
Sacred groves or sacred habitats.
Right.
And it may be also ex situ conservation outside their natural habitat, like the zoological park, the botanical gardens, sperm bank, gene bank, pollen banks, cryopreservations, etc., etc. Since we don't have, it's a large topic now in this year, we just mention the terms only. So we can have, this way we can conserve biodiversity to a great extent, protected areas and all that.
In fact, talking of biodiversity, this is not a very small area. This is so vast that every single aspect can be discussed for a pretty long time.
Yes, as you have, in the beginning, you have talked about Colombia, you mentioned about mega diversity country. That is one point. That
one more thing before I forget it.
India is, yes.
Dr. Majumdar, before I forget it, I'd like to know, because when we're talking of biodiversity, we can't miss the term hotspots.
Yes, I'm talking about that.
Please discuss this hotspot and how they are categorized. How do you find out which is hotspot?
So there are nowadays 36 hotspots, and India has 2. One is the Western Ghats that comes under Indo-Ceylonese biodiversity hotspot area. Another is the Eastern Himalayas that comes under Indo-Myanmar or Indo-Burmese hotspots. So the hotspots are areas where there are lots of endemic species. Endemic species are species that are present only on that country, not cosmopolitan in distribution. And there are species richness, as well as there are threats to destruction of biodiversity. So so India, we have only 2% of geographical area, 2.4% nurturing, global geographical area nurturing about around 8.1% of global biodiversity, along with 2 hotspots. That's why we also are under mega diversity country, like Colombia.
We are also mega diverse country. Right.
Philippines, Indonesia, they are all very, very, very diverse countries, Southeast Asian countries and South America, Latin American countries, some of the African countries also. So
thank you. You have discussed one very important point, that is a hotspot and the criteria for selection of a hotspot.
Exactly.
This is very, very important, which our students also must know. So we have been discussing on diversity and also how to conserve biodiversity. And now we'll come on to some other important aspects of this environment, because we also are discussing on World Environment Day, though the theme for this year is on biodiversity celebration. So along with biodiversity celebration or discussing on biodiversity, I think we must talk of the environment also. So when we talk of environment, because the environment has a direct relation with the biodiversity.
Exactly.
If you think of this global environment, the global climatic change, then the global climatic change has an impact on the biodiversity also.
Exactly.
Right.
Even see this. I'm sharing you one point. This loss of habitat,
right,
lead to more contact between wild animal and man.
This is what is happening nowadays.
And that's the reason of zoonotic diseases. And COVID is one such thing. Because they were previously in their own habitat. Destruction of habitat leads this animal coming nearer to man. And that leads to these zoonotic diseases. And COVID is one such. If you think of that, that is most important. Very important points to be noted. That is, diseases are also coming through this biodiversity.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's
They are
all.
also carriers, yes.
That's mostly we call about, and we have biodiversity utility that can be broad-based utility, direct utility,
Yes.
like medicine, food, fodder, timbers, etc., etc. This all comes under ecosystem service.
Ecosystem services, yes.
Provisional services, directly
One
providing.
important thing that is we are getting everything free.
Yes.
Nature,
On the other hand,
nature is providing us everything free.
Yes, all medicine,
air, water, and everything free.
All medicine comes from this.
Yes.
And on the other hand, we also have narrow utilitarian value, indirect value.
Right.
Within that, we have this this pollination, oxygen evolution. All these invisible, but they are very important. You have to price tag this in near future. And you know, Robert Costanja has started this concept of price tagging this biodiversity and ecosystem services.
Now, if I give you a very small example, just think over this. That suppose a person is contracted a disease or having some disorder, some problems, health problem, and is put into an ICU. Okay, the amount of charges, hospital charges for oxygen and life support. Just think of a patient in a hospital, private hospital, for 1 month or 7 days, whatever it is, under ICU, the life support system given to them and the charge and the billed amount. You can compare it with what we are consuming daily free of cost. So you realize
also about the regulatory services.
Yes.
Say the plants acts as a carbon sink, carbon sequestration. That's very important. Regulatory service, regulation of climate.
Now, suppose you think of a situation that plants, they go on a strike. Plants go on a strike. Yes, from today, I will not give you any carbon dioxide. Sorry, I will not give you any oxygen.
And not take carbon
take your carbon dioxide.
Okay.
Then what will be the situation?
Lockdown of plants.
Lockdown of plants. They go on strike. Then you think what will happen? People
just
will be carrying oxygen
will perish.
Carrying oxygen cylinders and going for refilling stations that you still refill my oxygen cylinder and then I have to move.
Exactly.
And this is being utilized. We are using all these ecological services, ecosystem services, and that to free of cost.
So this year,
why should we not think today that every services is taxed, has a price tag?
Exactly.
This is very, very important, which our children now has to understand, that everything nature is giving us should not be.
You cannot take everything into granted.
Yes. Now think over the price tag.
That's why this year call is a very important call to celebrate our biodiversity in diverse fashion. You know have to know everything. Likewise, last year topic is the China, who is one of
the air pollution, yes.
Polluter. You know, in environment we have one term, NIMBY. Not in my backyard. Dump everything outside my backyard. But don't dump in my backyard. Right. Not in my backyard. So air pollution is very dangerous. You have seen nowadays, in every day, if you have a mobile app, if you have gone through air quality index, you will find every day the first 20 cities, within that at least 15 cities are from India. Delhi and Calcutta are worst polluter. Majority of them are from India. And air pollution is a dangerous one. So beat the air pollution was the last year call. And within this we have gaseous pollution, mainly SOx and NOx.
Yes.
Monoxide. Previously in our school days, we don't consider carbon dioxide in our book. But now we consider carbon dioxide also because of climate change. And volatile organic matters, these are all gaseous pollutants. And we have suspended particulate matters, particulate pollution, dusts, mainly particulate matter 10 and particulate matter 2.5. 2.5 micrometer diameter. These are dangerous. They can penetrate our alveoli. And they are started with various types of metals and other harmful chemicals.
Once they enter into the lungs, there is no chance that they will come out. You can't take it out.
We are seeing last few years how the Delhi is suffering from smogs, secondary emissions because of this dust and fog, and that's dangerous. And it's a fatal. Many of us are losing our lifespan. You see here the air quality pattern is given. See the Indian condition, very unhealthy all time throughout the year.
Right.
Here you see vehicular pollution. This is again very important. Day by day, vehicles are increasing, and they are burning fossil fuels that leads to air pollution. And we have solutions, even odd situations, or carpooling, or use public transport. That is the solution. Cycling in big areas in Europe, you see cycling rows of strands. I have been in Japan and I've seen cycle rows, and many people are cycling nowadays. We have started doing that.
Yes, nowadays
because of lack of transport here in after the lockdown. Is what? So this is
the only mode of conveyance where you don't require any fuel.
Here we have nowadays
you don't need any fossil fuels. You only need
unleaded petrols. Unleaded petrol has saved us something.
Yes.
So you are using CNGs, LPGs. That is saving. That's the.
And also nowadays we are having hybrid cars and this.
Yes, they are coming. They are coming. Even these
vehicles are coming.
Even these totos or battery operated e-rickshaws, they are also
electric vehicles.
Environment friendly.
Right.
This is very important. They are the major pollutants. Thermal pollution, power plants, mostly burning of sulfur dioxides. Indian coals are very bad quality coals. And so that is very important. And climate change, it also contributes large to climate change. These are occupational hazards, and in large parts of India, stone crushing that leads to silicosis.
Silicosis, yes.
By the poor workers. In
cement factory, asbestosis.
Even cement factory, we have the same problem. In cotton, we have the same problem. Cotton dusts. So I have
jute industries.
I've taken this photograph from Jhargram.
Okay.
That's to show. That's what I've told you. Bring the field into your classroom.
Right to say.
You cannot take all the time. But this is one occupational hazard, big way. People are suffering a lot. Their lifespan is reduced within 30s or 40s. So working for 4 to 5 years.
No mask, no protection.
No.
These laborers, they are working without any protection.
So air pollution is a big issue. Here you see industrial pollution, vehicular pollution, road dust, construction dusts, burning of biomass. That's one most important thing. Punjab, Haryana, you have seen last 2 years.
Yes.
Deforestation and waste burning. That is also this burning of waste for compaction of. We don't have any dumping ground nowadays, sanitary landfills or dumping ground. So we are doing what? We are deliberately incinerating the wastes. And by that, there are a lot of plastic waste, and that causes dioxin and furan, these two carcinogenic gases. You even experience the difference of smell in burning of plastics.
Yes.
Dioxin and furan. So that's causing dangerous. So these are some effects, nervous effect, cardiovascular morbidity. There are respiratory disorders, COPDs, all comes from air pollution. So that is most important. And here you see the air quality contents. Death per.
Very awful.
1 lakh. That is because of air pollution. 218, this was celebrated in India. Plastics, beat plastic pollution, and you see that staggering plastics. We are all now servants of plastics. Without plastic, we cannot survive. And that is very dangerous. We must have to come back to our old habit. And more and more, we are trying to save it, but there are plastic lobbies, politics involved in it. So not always possible. If we don't change our habit, or by law, we cannot do it. You might have heard of another term, that's microplastics.
Microplastics, yes.
Yes, that's very important. You see, all the medicine wrappers, they are deliberately, unintentionally, we are exposed to microplastics. Through our garments, when we put it in the washing machines, microplastics are coming out and they ultimately reach the oceans. So these are microplastic, and we are not supposed to carry food in
plastic containers. In plastic containers.
But we are doing that because of our
Various reasons.
opinions.
For
Yes.
various reasons.
And there are a lot of plastic toys which also
Toxic toys.
dioxins and heavy metals.
Right.
So that's plastic is choking our drainage system. That is also causing dangers. So that was the issue in 2018.
Very commonly you'll find
and plastic burning is
this
plastic burning. If we don't stop plastic burning, it will causes our destruction.
Now, you see, commonly what happens in our household activities is we collect the leftover food, keep it in a plastic bag, tie it, and throw it onto the whatever dustbin or whatever.
And you have rightly told that these cows,
the cattle
and other cattle, they are eating it, and asphyxiation, dies of asphyxiation.
Yes.
Same with the marine turtles and marine fishes.
Right. Same thing happens both in land and water.
So that's why I have talked about macroplastic and microplastics. And there are also persistent organic pollutants, POPs. These POPs get encircled within plastic pellets. That also causes harm for the marine environment. So that is persistent organic pollutants. We call dirty detergents, pesticides, industrial chemicals. For this, we are the signatories for abatement. All going on. Mainly, plastics, where chelating agent is used and chlorinated chelating is used. These chlorinated chelates, they when burned give dioxin and furans. That's dangerous. So this is I've told about weapons of mass destruction. This is another persistent pollutants. Long time to degrade. They are non-degradables.
Bio non-degradables there.
In 2017, is connecting people to nature. So you talk about, you can ask me about that also. So that's very important. The village people are more nearer to nature.
Yes, they live in nature.
Yes. Rather than us. And they are our nature warrior and nature guides.
These villagers, they live in nature, and we, the urban people, have changed the nature.
Exactly. And we are also luring them to come to the city and gradually forgetting their good habits. So connecting humans and nature is a very, very good issue on that, very pertinent issue on 2017.
So Dr. Majumdar, you have widely discussed about the past few years, on the themes of the past few years, world environment is. Now we are now going to have a shortage of time. Now, would you like to just discuss on this green city plan, green city? It's a time
Yes,
now
yes,
when we have to think of green cities.
I'm coming within few, it's
Okay,
coming. This
okay,
is
okay.
2016, Go Wild for Life. Mainly wildlife traits, in your area,
Yes. I was
poaching,
talking of that also. Wildlife, crime.
tigers, pangolins, rhinos, your areas, rhinos, elephants, turtles, these are poached. So these should be stopped. That was the call for 2016. Illegal wildlife trades. 7 billion dreams, one planet, consume with care. That is sustainable consumption. That comes in 2015. We must keep something for our future generation.
Yes. That
Judicious
is
use.
sustainable consumption.
That is 2015. 2014, raise your voice, not the sea level. That is again from climate change. Climate change, greenhouse gases.
Causing rise in the sea level.
Methane, carbon dioxide, the greenhouse gases, they are causing the rising of sea level. And that will lead to 60% of the population lives within 100 kilometers from the coasts. So coastal cities will be damaged, agriculture damage, loss of biodiversity, loss of people. You are seeing how this is going on. So these are the major issues: environmental activities, conserving water, preventing global warming, conservation of biodiversity, keeping the earth clean, conservation of natural resources, not to overexploit it, and contribution to local communities. 2013, this is very important. How many food we are wasting? And for preparation.
Yes, this was a question I was going to ask you, but you have already explained it.
No, talk.
This is a very important thing. When we talk of biodiversity, we must think of reducing our food losses.
Because
wastage of food, we must reduce wastage of food. This is very important thing, which is.
And a term was used. Term used: footprints. Reduce your footprints. Think, eat, and save. Don't misuse, because for each preparation of each food, we need a lot of natural resources, milk and all that. So that we have to consider. See the wastage. See the wastage. See the wastage. When you waste life, when you have waste good food. These are the statisticals. Here you see 20% of meat, 20% of oil seeds, 30% of cereal, 30% of fish, 40 to 50% of crops. That is being
fruits and vegetables
wasted. This was your ecology versus economy. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? We cannot go without ecology. We cannot go without economy. So we have to have a blending things. Green economy. We must have a green economy, and it includes life cycle analysis, eco-tagging, everything. Economy, environment, and social being. That means at the center is sustainability. So only through sustainable we can manage it. That's your answer of green economy.
Right.
Forest nature at your service. Already I've talked about forests and its ecosystem service.
Yes, we have already discussed on this. And
even our great Rabindranath Tagore has told about the importance of forest in his writing. See the logging, that is human induced, and natural forest fire. Natural forest loss, sometimes human induced forest fire. Now the Amazon is going on with human induced forest fire. It is just like a lung, and you are uprooting the alveoli lung.
This is a wonderful photograph which you have shown.
Yes, deforestation.
Right.
This biodiversity, already you have talked 2010, that was also about biodiversity. One planet, many species, one future. And as human being, we must be very careful about that. Lots of biodiversity. We can have this in our school campus itself. Only we need to have passion to show our student what are the different species of butterfly, different species of plants, different species of bird in our locality.
Now the situation has come to that extent that we have to develop that we have developed butterfly parks.
Yes, 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 yes.
This is the situation that we are now
Yes,
to
yes.
develop this. Why? Because our future, these our children, they will not know what a butterfly is.
And that's how
Butterfly parks.
exactly, and that's how the environment literacy goes.
Just recall your childhood days when you used to see, you used to run behind the butterfly catching a butterfly.
Yes, yes. The pollution.
We don't butterflies.
Yes, so that's important. This is very important. This is a different types of biodiversity and loss of, and this is 2009 combat climate change togetherly. So that climate change is very important. You have talked about greenhouse effect, enhanced greenhouse effect. There are greenhouse gases that are important because without greenhouse gases, the average Earth temperature would have been around minus 18 degrees centigrade. That will not survive many species.
Right.
Now we have about 15 degree plus, and this greenhouse gas leads to, this enhanced greenhouse effect leads to melting of glaciers. That leads to what? Sea level rise.
Rise of sea level.
And that sea level rise leads to, and beside the sea level rise, we have ocean acidification of oceans. Very important. Carbon dioxide is absorbed in ocean water, destruction of ocean animals. Desertifications, more arid zones, more erratic monsoon, more floods and more droughts. Have you ever think of Borne in Rajasthan having flood, a drought?
That's right.
And there is also about that extreme weather climates, intensity of extreme weather climates, Ayla, Amphan, these are coming in regular intervals. Those are
every year facing this climate
increased erratic monsoon. So, and vector-borne diseases, dengue, malaria, chikungunya, these are all because of climate change. And you see, it follows a hockey stick model. So we have to reduce our carbon footprint, carbon dioxide generation, that we have to reduce. Water footprint we have to reduce. And the two terms, mitigation
and adaptation.
Prevent climate change, that is mitigation, and respond to the impact of climate change for your survival. And also resilience, that is another, is how to bounce back in a difficult situation. That is also important in terms of climate change. So this is vector-borne diseases. This is another field things. We have Hilsa population declining because of water pollution. And in Ichapur, Nawabganj, there are spawning ground of Hilsa.
Okay.
And our parents are taking first-hand knowledge from the local fishermen. That's how it should be. If you talk about environment literacy, you have to go to the field.
Right. 100% correct. You have to learn from them. Those who are working. Those who are
see their face. The difference between field learning and within the class learning.
This is actually joyful learning. Dr. Majumdar.
Yes. Learning with joy. This NCF.
This is actually joyful learning.
Exactly.
Learning is followed by joy.
And learning from habitat.
Right.
Cyclone Ayla this year, just few days back, Amphan. These mangroves, this is again a savior. They act as a bioshield to protect from destruction. And this is another habitat diversity. Wastage of water, wastage of electricity, and wastage of food all leads to carbon footprint, increased carbon footprint, and that leads to climate change. Kick the carbon dioxide, kick the habit towards a low carbon economy. That's again related to carbon change. We have to stop, because 90% of electricity are coal-based production. So electricity consumption and fossil fuel consumption must be stopped. Melting of ice is a hot topic. Again, that is related to carbon change. climate change 2007. Otherwise, we will be gone. Here you see the hockey stick model. That means carbon dioxide consumption is steady like this, and now it goes like this. Along with population, steady goes like this. Consumption, steady goes like this. So all are directly proportional. Hockey stick model, we call it. This is 2006 desertification, as I've already told you, is an indirect impact of climate change. Arid zones and deserts are increasing. Go green 2005, I have already discussed about this. These are eco labels. Nowadays, we are using it so that we can produce sustainable consumer products. Enjoy it. So these are all greening. That is the key to a greener planet is in your hand. How we use it, we can do that. Wanted seas and oceans, dead or alive. That's the way that I've told you, that acidification of oceans and dumping of pollution that changes so much things, food web and other things, salinity change, nutrient enrichment, all these are causing, endangering this coral reef, bleaching of coral reefs. We have Andaman and Lakshadweep as the two major coral reefs, and coral bleaching is destroying many things, because coral reef is the tropical, is the species diversity, most diversity of species is there in the coral reef.
One more thing is very important is the colorful world.
Yes, yes.
That's the colorful world under sea.
Aesthetics.
Right.
That is the aesthetic part of ecosystem service.
Right.
So marine species are at lost. Andaman, you see, after tsunami, the corals are exposed. Burning of oil extraction, oil spillage, all leads to marine battering of marine environment. This is Chilica in your area. Nalabono. So these are ground for migratory birds. Wetlands must be preserved. Otherwise, that also will be that will be dangerous for all of us. 203, it is 2 billion people dying for it, for water. So water conservation, water pollution, very important. Elixir of life, you know, every day you see how Chennai affects last year. And here you see point source of water pollution. This is River Ganga in front of Fort William. See the untreated sewage.
This is a scene which you find in every city.
Yes, throughout the Ganga.
Throughout the country.
And you see, yes. We have a term in environment, most probable number. And that is in terms of pathogen, fecal coliform, streptococcus, Shigella, Salmonella, all these are there in this, along with hazardous chemicals, phenolics, substances, and oxygen depleting organics. You have seen in your book, oxygen sagging curve. More organic, more the biological oxygen demand, less the dissolved oxygen, less the biodiversity. So these only one diagram can clear you. This is taken by me from Babugat.
Just understanding the BOD, you understand many things. Apply the concept of BOD.
Yes.
Biological oxygen demand.
More organic matter. That means more you need to do that. Here you see same Pavitra Ganga. This is again immersion of idols. This all contains these colors made up of heavy metals, lead, cadmium, copper, zinc, and the situation has been improved nowadays, but still this is another way of water pollution which we need to stop. Beside this, eutrophication is there. In every year, if you measure the Ganga nutrient content, you will find a spiking 10 times, 50 times spiking of nitrate and phosphate during monsoon because of washing from the nearby agricultural field. And that goes to the ocean. Give Earth a chance to survive. That was 2002. And survival, how we will survive, we have already discussed. Another 1 or 2 slides we have. This was about the Millennium Development Goals. Nowadays, we have called the global goals. This is very important. No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, especially after COVID situation. Quality education, again a challenge after COVID-19 situation. Gender equality, clean water and sanitation, big problem. Affordable cleaner energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduce inequalities. That disparity is going on. You have seen the migrants. Sustainable cities, responsible consumption. We talk about the R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. I've talked about biodiversity. See, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and last but not the least, together we can able to survive. That is partnership. Ozone layer depletion has been reduced. That is one good thing. And this is the 2001 connect the web of life. So many diversity. Because of evolution, we have diversity. So we have to take care of all of this. We cannot consider that only as human being we can have that. This is comes under deep ecology concept. This habitable earth is not only habitat for us, it is for all species, equal rights for all species. That is
we must give this concept to our children, that we live when they live. We live when they also live.
Exactly, coexistence. This is aquatic biodiversity. Even ant is also important in ecosystem service content.
Okay, so Dr. Majumdar, you have already discussed at length.
And this is the last one, the environment millennium time to act. That was 2000. Right. And you see these action, even small action are taking on. Even see these aged peoples are moving for the
cause of the environment.
Catch them young.
Right.
See
Dr. Majumdar, I'd like to tell you that it is very important that we involve our little children, because when they understand the importance of the environment, importance of the
exactly, we as
teachers, they understand, this knowledge will take them to several years.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So
you are right.
They have the knowledge at the right time, then we save so many years. In one word, I have to say. If I now try to teach a person of 80 years old, and I try to teach a student, make the student aware who's at the 8 years old, then this 8-year-old student whom I have sensitized, motivated, this investment will go for the next 50, 70 years, 80 years. This investment.
As a teacher, we should be passionate enough to do this, inculcate this. See here, I'm showing you one. Just a minute. See here, the fluoride content in Nadia district. It's dangerous. You cannot simply believe. You know fluorosis, dental and skeletal fluorosis. So we once measured in KV number 1, number 2 Kastapara, and we'll be astonished to find what is it is. Nobody knows before that. It was just an informal one KVS initiative to measure.
Yes, you're right.
You'll be astonished
to find out the fluorine content of the water supplied. Right.
Yes.
And we have done full jobs they have done.
These sort of things to be increased.
Right.
Fluorosis, skeletal fluorosis. See the students biodiversity measure.
That was
that's the thing. That's the field work. Marine, save your marine life. They have come to the hotel lawn. Who is encroaching whom? See here, this is the area where hotels are built in Mandarmani. Where will that poor crab go?
Yes, while walking along the shores of Mandarpani, I also experienced this red crabs and all.
This is another very important thing, solid wastes. And within this solid waste, this biomedical waste is very important. You have to source segregate this. Our students are visiting a local hospital in Garden Reach to see how segregation of solid waste done in different colors. Pathogenic waste, cytotoxic waste, sharps, human anatomical waste, etc., etc. This must be done. This is possible. Electronic waste, big issue. Big issue.
So actually, Dr. Majumdar, I'd just like to tell you that it's not just an hour discussion that we can complete. It needs a lot of time, lot of energy, and lot of passion to motivate our children.
This one in Malda, you see, you dumping of these are the mosquito breeding ground. Everywhere you will find this.
Right.
But when you take them, realization comes, and they at least will be our future warrior to protect it. See this solid waste dumping. This is in Malda. This is again gender stereotyping in Dhapa. Solid waste, all female worker, no male. So you involve your students even in NGO activities. They are participating in NGO workshops and get prize, and they are so happy.
Of course. Now, when they realize one thing, Dr. Majumdar, what I'd like to tell you, that prize is one of the, of course, it's an achievement. But even if they don't get a prize also, when they participate in any program,
any outside
school
boundary program, they will be happy.
Students enjoy, they learn, and of course, they work in a community.
Yes, yes.
And they work together, they understand cooperation, they learn from their peers, and they become smarter. They become smart learners.
I never miss an opportunity to attend this so that they can learn something. Every situation is a learning situation.
So I think we should stop here.
Conclude. So this is the point.
Right.
2 points: inspire and passion.
Right. So
inspire and passion.
So we are coming to the end of today's discussion.
Yes.
But this discussion doesn't end, in fact.
That's the last slide.
Go on.
That's the last slide. I think you will read it. Read it.
Blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shores, one earth so green and round. Who can ask for more? Pete Seeger. This is a wonderful, lines. And this is how we are supposed to think of our nature. We are supposed to think of our planet. We want more green planet. We want to live better, and we must leave our planet in a better way.
Coexist all other species.
So what we do today will what our future generation will receive. So we have to work accordingly so that our future generations, our offsprings, they enjoy their life, they enjoy the earth in a better way.
I'm very thankful to you for such a wonderful anchoring and instigate me to talk so many things.
I'm very happy to have you, Dr. Majumdar. I also say that I'm very happy to have you today. And in fact, you have given a wonderful description. You from this last 20 years. You have discussed about the last 20 years of this World Environment Days, with all the themes and important discussions you have made. Within this very short span of time, we have at least tried to explain, make people understand the importance of World Environment Day. And I hope our future will be much better because we are now learning from different sources. Let us now learn to live better. Let us now learn to live better by making the world better living, better place for living. We will live better. Our children will live much more better. With this, I thank Dr. Majumdar
Also, thank you for such
for
a
your
wonderful anchoring and
presence
such a
today.
wonderful interaction with me. I know.
Thank you very much. And I
Thank you.
hope in
Thank you.
future you will again will be with me for other discussions. Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, audience.